and welcome to the first edition of FABZ True African show. We're here at Monash University Sunway campus. Monash University is originally an Australian university that has a campus here in Malaysia. Monash University is one of the best private universities in Malaysia at the moment, and we're here to meet Mr. Sylvester Orimaye, who just recently completed his PhD in information technology. Well, let's go ahead and meet Mr. Sylvester now. Welcome, Mr. Sylvester.
Thank you for having me.
It's very great to have you on the show. And again, congratulations on the successful completion of your PhD.
Thank you so much.
How did you find that? I mean, how long did it take you to complete that?
The program is about 3 years and some months. But it's been a journey, and I thank God so far.
Okay. So did you face any challenges along the way, you know, working with locals and studying in Monash University in the grad department? I'm sure there are not many Africans or foreigners at that.
That's correct. Actually, as at this moment, I'm the only African in my faculty of completed PhD.
So you're in a position to set an example.
I think so, by God's grace.
That's a lot of weight on your shoulders.
So, yeah. I mean, it's been a journey. Of course, I mean, there are a lot of challenges. But you've got to know why you're there in the first place. Mm-hmm. Know what you're doing and put your passion in it.
That's good.
Nothing is too difficult. You know, nothing is impossible. You've just got to give a little bit of time and focus and just believe it. You can do it.
So I also noticed you have 9 papers that have been published.
That's correct.
And that's on academia.edu.
Yes.
Can you tell us just a little bit about that?
Yeah, I have this publications, because when you do your PhD, the only way to test your ideas is to publish papers.
Okay.
So you work alongside with some professors and you publish in a very good journal, in very good journals and conference papers. So far I have 2 journals, international journals, and I have about 7 conference papers.
Okay.
And I've been able to travel far and wide to present some of these papers.
Wow.
I've been to France.
Wow.
I've been to Australia. I've been to Netherlands.
Wow.
I've been to India, and I've been to China as well.
That is great.
So you've got to be able to tell the world that here is what I found and here is how it could be useful, or how it could benefit the entire world.
Wow, I mean, that is very impressive. Let's go back to where it all started. In 2005, you started off with your HND back in Nigeria. Can you tell me a bit more about that?
Yes, that's correct. Way back in Nigeria, I think initially I wanted to study medicine.
Okay.
Surgery.
It's quite a deviation.
Yeah. So that has been the plans of my parents, and they really want me to be a doctor. But fortunately, as God will have it, and I have a different path to follow. I've always been interested in engineering and putting things together.
Okay.
You know, how things work.
Okay.
So I tried the Nigerian Joint Administration Board exams for some time, and things weren't going as I thought they would. And the next option for me was to go for something that I know I had passion in, and that's in engineering.
Okay.
So then I got into electrical engineering, and that's how it started.
Okay, that's great. And you completed that back in Nigeria, and also from there you moved on to your NYCS, I believe it's called?
Yes, that's correct. In Nigeria, we do have to serve the country for 1 year after your degree, and it's also applicable to higher national diploma as well.
Okay.
So you will be posted to a different state other than your state, so that you can. The whole idea is to learn other people's culture. As you know, Nigeria is. We have different tribes in Nigeria,
right?
So it's an opportunity to learn what is happening in other states and how to integrate with the diversity in Nigeria as well. But if you are fortunate, you could be posted to where you have to make use of your talent or make use of your discipline.
Okay.
I was fortunate to be posted to an ISP, Internet Service Provider.
Oh, okay.
So I had the opportunity to develop on my programming skills as well.
Right.
So, and before that, during the orientation camp, I was part of the orientation broadcasting service,
Okay.
which is a kind of editorial board for the NYC program.
Okay.
And that's where I was able to partake in designing the end of the year magazine.
Okay, so you have a bit of designing background as well. You had a bit of an experience. So it turned out to be an experience as well, getting some work experience in a diverse way.
Absolutely.
If
absolutely.
we like to.
Yeah. I'm a good designer, I can tell you that.
Right.
A bit creative. I know how to, like I told you, I know how to put things together.
Okay.
So when this opportunity came, I took it with happiness that this is an opportunity for me to demonstrate my ability.
Wow, so that helped you in a way as well.
Absolutely.
And it's part of your CV, of course.
Absolutely. Actually, my bachelor's is issued by Sylvester University, UK.
Okay.
And I studied mobile computing for bachelor's.
Wow.
My interest in, like I told you, while doing my national service, I was opportune to work with ISP. So I had so many computers to myself.
Okay.
So I was able to make use of these resources and learn more about programming. You know, because in engineering we have this component where you study logic, how to program microprocessors.
Right.
So it's not. It's another part of computing, but you know, in engineering, it's not as if you're doing software engineering.
Right.
So that's brought my interest into learning more about programming. So
Okay.
since I had computers to myself, I just made use of it and study more, learn some programming languages, and that's why I decided to further to study mobile computing.
Okay, so you made the most of what was around you and not waste any time or waste any knowledge.
I have no time to waste at all. Yeah.
So I see you're really passionate about learning new things, finding out more about whatever is around you. You tend to use it to your benefit and to gain more knowledge and more. And that's I think that's a very interesting. I mean, where do you get that from?
I'll say from my father.
Okay.
I learned a lot of things from him, and starting from being precise.
Right.
He is also an engineer, a food engineer for that matter.
Wow.
Graduated from the University of Ibadan in Nigeria.
Okay.
And he just fascinates me each time I look at him, and he is able to design food equipment.
Wow.
And I look at him as someone that is very, very talented.
So would you say he's your role model?
Absolutely. He's
Okay.
kind of, my passion for engineering, I would just say it's a kind of DNA thing.
Right.
So I was so sure about it that it's what I wanted to do because I know my dad is also doing the same thing.
Wow. That is
So,
that is
yeah. So then I knew it wasn't a mistake. That okay, if you have to trace it back, you can trace it to someone.
yes,
Yeah.
that is great. So viewers, there you have it. It is great to have a great role model in your life. So how did you end up in Malaysia? Because we understand you worked for a company in Penang in Malaysia.
Yeah, that's correct. I was in Penang around 2008. I worked as a software engineer for this American company called Interreg LLC. So they have a separate company in Penang.
Right.
They are into voice over IP
Okay.
communications. So they build devices, VoIP devices, and we write the backend code to support the customers. So it's just like you're making telephone calls. You need some back-end logic to monitor how much you've used your calling.
Okay.
To manage your credit balance and some other things. Yeah.
All right, that makes sense. So how long were you there for? How long did you work with them?
It was less than a year because I was actually there when I got my scholarship.
Oh,
so,
right.
Yeah, I had to leave at about 10 months, I guess.
Okay, and your scholarship was with Monash?
What's with Monash? Yeah.
Okay, and how did you manage to get that scholarship? Was it through application? Was it a long process?
I would say it's a long process actually. I got a scholarship 2 months after I got a job.
Oh.
Yeah, that's kind of funny. So I was in a kind of dilemma because then my work permit just came through.
Wow.
So I was thinking, just 2 months in this company, how would I just leave?
Transfer over.
And so I had to defer my admission until late fall of 2009.
Okay.
So, but I won't say it's very easy to get. I started by applying online because I thought most likely I'll be in Malaysia for some time.
Right.
So I wanted to look into the opportunities around.
Okay.
So I tried few universities, but I think they don't offer what I would love to do. So I thought Monash would be the best place for me to study.
For what you wanted.
Yes.
And how has that been? You went from working with the locals. Did you face any challenges?
Absolutely, there are a lot of challenges, especially in Malaysia. One thing you have to remember is it's very difficult to get into these companies. So once you're there, you want to make good use of your time and make sure you perform up to expectation.
Yes.
So that it will be well worth going there in the first place.
Yes.
So you wouldn't want them to be disappointed in you.
That is true.
I have to tell you this, that before I actually got a job, it was my sixth application, my sixth interview for that matter. Yes, that's correct. So I went for a few interviews before that, and the good thing is that they will actually tell you that you did well, but the problem has been the work permit.
Right.
So, but I was fortunate, and this company, they were willing to do the work permit, and that's how I began.
And I guess with much determination, because it seems you're a very determined person and you refuse to fail. I mean, most people after the first, second interview, they don't want to carry on. They'll just give up and say there's no hope. But you kept at it and you pushed forward. And I suppose it was worthwhile for you. You found it to be worthwhile.
Absolutely.
So, Mr. Sylvester, just before we go, can you give us a motivational word for the young ones out there that are still pursuing their careers?
Okay, to the younger ones, what I would want to say is, in this world, there are a lot of challenges. There's no doubt, but you've got to keep going. You got to believe in yourself that you can do it. Because if you don't do it, someone else will.
That is true.
And you will end up regretting that if only you had known.
Wow.
So you got to put your passion in it and go for what you want.
Okay, that's great. So what's next for you now that you've completed?
Yes, I'll be going for my postdoctoral. It's kind of work after the PhD.
Okay.
So hopefully I'll find a place in the West. Thinking of changing the environment. But if I get other opportunities around here as well, I wouldn't mind.
Okay, that's great. I wish you all the best. Thank you so much, Mr. Sylvester, for your time.
Thank you.
And you really have proven to be a role model, a true example of a true African. And at FABZ Magazine, we like to honor true Africans that are setting the pace and the example for the other Africans that are here that maybe be struggling or maybe want to see what opportunities are here in Malaysia. Well, this is our example of a true African. Thank you.